Oh wow, another rhythm game tier list. Friday Night Funkin' bad, Osu good. But the catch of this list is that the rhythm game will be rated based on the Rizz potential. Basically, how impressive you look playing the game and how it can attract people alongside other variables that can affect your chances, positively or not. We are going to start off with the most popular rhythm game out there.
I have never heard of anyone in my life that plays Osu and has like felt the embrace of a woman.
It's easy to agree with this, but it's not rare to hear people meeting their partner on this accursed game. Zudinator, a top 50 player, met her boyfriend on Osu.
This is Jaden. We actually met on Osu and started dating in 2016.
I can vouch because I've also met people personally who've done the same thing. And if you don't know anyone else that has, then now you know someone. Hello! It feels cringe to bring up the fact that you dated someone on Osu because they're not gonna understand. But it doesn't even matter because people don't even believe you in the first place.
Girlfriend, you mean the anime girl you watch and sleep with?
Ah, shit, he got me, boys. I actually don't have a girlfriend. But why don't they believe you? Well, you're associated with a community that typically likes anime, doesn't go outside, and probably plays Genshin Impact. Your connection to the community doesn't seem good on your part. Just say you like Counter-Strike or something so you sound normal. Plus, with the game's high skill ceiling, despite looking impressive and sometimes inhuman, those fingers must make his girlfriend happy. Anyone dedicated to Osu will have their priorities to focus on PP
1000 PP
instead of getting bitches. Being in a relationship sounds hard, so that's why I'm focusing on Osu. Yeah, I felt that. The points balance each other out, so I put this in the middle. B tier. I don't own VR, but this game looks cool as hell. Beat Saber is another popular rhythm game, filling your childhood fantasy of becoming a Jedi and swinging a lightsaber around. Compared to the other popular game Osu, this looks way cooler. You have some hype music playing in the background, while you have to cut up the notes flying towards you. The players look elegant swinging a lightsaber around the screen, cutting up the notes, but in reality, the room is silent while the anime model is just some guy looking quirky, swinging his hands around. I mean, at least the guy playing is getting a legit workout. Bro, those forearms are about to be jacked as hell. I lift weights at the gym and squat 200 kilos. What do you do? Well, I get an insane workout swinging my arms around in VR, and I FC'd all the BTS songs on Expert Plus in the game. That's base S tier. Oh wait, you guys lost to Osu in the rhythm game poll. A tier. I've not met anyone that played this game and is above the age of 16. I ain't looking to be on drama love for being a pedophile. Stay the fuck away from me. D tier. I remember playing Geometry Dash as a kid. It's like a platformer where you control a cube jumping to the beat. There's also other mechanics like— okay, I'm just trolling. Geometry Dash isn't a rhythm game, so it doesn't belong on this list. But if there's like a general tier list of video games, I say C tier. Now we move on to the mobile games. I haven't played a lot of mobile games, so Arcaea is my most played mobile game because I really like the laser feature since it adds something unique to the vertical scrolling rhythm game genre. Because this is my first mobile game I've mentioned, I bring up the point about phones versus tablets. Tablets are objectively better in the gameplay aspect. The larger size compared to the phone gives it all of these advantages. It's not a coincidence that a large majority of high-level players use a tablet to excel in these games. Although phones are more accessible, its noticeable downsides are hard to avoid and makes you not even bother using a phone as a gaming device in the first place. So just play with tablet, right? Yeah, true, but you look goofy as fuck, hunched down on your device, using your fingers to poke a screen. What a nerd. Phones give you ability to sit up straight, looking more refined. Arcaea charts are designed with handheld devices in mind, meaning that you can play all the charts with your thumbs on the phone.
My guiding star.
No, that's a fucking lie, that's 4-finger holds. Sorry Arcaea, C tier. Sekai has the same thing with Arcaea. It was thumb friendly until recently, where they added charts requiring multiple fingers to play. It's another vertical scrolling rhythm game where you have to tap the notes onto the bar, as well as the occasional flick notes. This makes the game much simpler than Arcaea and other rhythm games. In the gameplay aspect, the game has a gacha system, which adds a bunch of mechanics I don't even understand. You have to level up these characters, but to get them, you need to whale on pools to hopefully get the JPEG image you want. I've never seen a Sekai player who doesn't have an unhealthy attachment to one of these characters, so it's most likely that they'll love their waifu more than they ever could with you. D tier. Same with other idol games as well. Bang Dream, D tier as well. Now we're gonna move on to the arcade games, for the people daring to go outside. From my experience, maimai is popular in Australia, where to the point it's very common to queue up with others to wait for your turn. That is already an opportunity right there to get to know the people there, but in reality, rhythm games don't often attract social people. You got some people standing around waiting silently, and then some on their tablets playing another rhythm game, and then some talking Chinese among their friend group. It sounds hopeless to find true love, but the more you come, the higher chance that your loved one will be waiting in queue with you. We can only pray that your arcade fantasy of all perfect FDX with your crush as a sentimental moment you can tell to your grandkids will come true. There's also the aspect of playing the game itself. I know, I thought this was a dating game, but actually it's a very addictive rhythm game, and it looks insane with the players wiping their hands around the screen. I had plenty of experiences where people at the arcade come up to me telling me how impressive I was, even though I have like 20 misses and choked the S rank on the map. Even beginner players can do the same thing. Me at 9k rating was still impressive towards people passing by. You don't even need to be good at the game. The game looks cool to impress people and gives you opportunities to rizz people up due to the social nature of the game. This is perfect. S tier. Right, picture this, you're at a rave and there's a crowd of people gathering around someone, and it's just Chad going crazy with his moves. This game is the equivalent of that. Dance Rush is the closest rhythm game you can get to dancing, and the simple game design of just having left and right as the inputs, with the occasional jumping and crouching, allows the players to be creative with their moves. Dance Rush tournaments are judged with how stylish the moves are, so it's encouraged to dance along with the music instead of just stepping on the notes. Even though this game is fundamentally easy, like I was able to pick up the game very quickly, it's always impressive seeing someone freestyle on the dance floor. S tier. DDR is also another dancing game, and Pumpin' Up is the Korean knockoff but with an extra input. These type of dancing rhythm games look impressive. Although Dance Rush looks cooler since it's proper dancing, DDR has more skill involved with coordinating your feet to hit the specific inputs below you. Pumpin' Up's extra input makes the skill ceiling even higher as well with playing on both play areas. This shit's impressive. S tier as well.
Spin it back now.
Sound Vortex is pretty hard to understand because along the 4 vertical lines with the 4 white input buttons, you have 2 orange notes you hit with the FX buttons below, and 2 lasers you control with the 2 knobs. The more mechanics there are, the more confusing it looks, and the more confusing it looks, the cooler it looks. It's like, whoa, these lasers are flying around so quickly everywhere. And the sounds of the buttons and the in-game effects are so nice. I love Sound Vortex, but I suck at the game. I even have my own controller just to play it at home, but I haven't given myself the time to actually get good at the game. But when I do, I imagine just being an ultra smurf at the arcade and then showing off to the crowd as I perfect Ultimate Chain 666, one of the hardest maps in the game.
Like that's ever gonna happen.
Taiko is a classic. Hitting the drum to the red and blue notes is straightforward, but the ability to read those notes on the screen is something different. Like, how are you supposed to react to this? Originally from 2001, older than most people watching this video, the game has evolved to appeal to a wider audience with its updated visuals. From my experience, Taiko appeals the most to casual players in the arcade. The large drums, cute graphics, and simple gameplay are some features that make it stand out to the other games there. So, the game plan is this. You go on an arcade date and you play the day normally, win some plushies, gamble for some tickets, just whatever you do on a date, I don't know. Then suddenly, you end up in the rhythm game section. Maimai has like a 20-person queue, you can't play that. DDR looks hard and there's only one Sound Vortex cab, but Taiko looks appealing for your date, and they ask you to play with them, not knowing that you're actually goated at the game. Trust, when you go off at that Oni diff, oh, you're so getting laid tonight. A tier. 2DX fits the same boat as Taiko. It's another arcade classic released ages ago, but unlike Taiko, the game still looks like it's from the era it was born in. Some past buyers would think that it's some crusty old machine that has been left in the arcade for years, and the owner hasn't been bothered to change it. But upon further inspection, it's this very difficult Mania-style game with 7 inputs and a DJ turntable, giving the game 8 lanes to keep in track of. The hand coordination when starting out is non-existent because the large amount of keys making it overwhelming for newer players to track. 2DX takes years of practice to even get somewhat decent, which is why players are typically in the older range and have been playing for like a decade. Most of us are too young to be risen up like 30-year-olds, but props to them for playing one of the hardest rhythm games ever made. B tier. Chunithm is like Project Sekai, but in an arcade because the gameplay looks similar. The gameplay is a little bit more difficult with the added air notes. My opinion on the game is pretty much the same as Sekai. I find it okay. I like it a bit more because air notes are better than flick notes. Anything's better than flick notes, let's be real. So you would think this belongs in the D tier, but at least this game doesn't revolve around waifus and shit. Just penguins. C tier. Wacca. More like whack my nuts in your mouth. Wacca has a circular touch panel as input, where you drag and slide around it. It reminds me of Sekai, but the whole play area is circular. There's taps, slides, and flicks. Literally the same thing. Watching gameplay, and the game looks pretty easy in my opinion. It just seems hard to read because you're adjusting to the circular playing field, but it does make it a bit more impressive playing it. Too bad I don't get to try it out because the game is dead. C tier. Here's the final picture of what the tier list looks like. Maybe this tier list will influence you on what rhythm game to main next? I mean, are you really going to do that? Find a significant other through your game? Reflect on yourself. Why do you play rhythm games in the first place? Do you find it fun? Is that what you tell yourself? For fun? As you waste your money and time hitting notes on the screen. These in-game achievements and scores are meaningless in the real world, but we still keep playing, using our time in unproductive ways to fill that void of value we struggle to find in our daily mundane lives. It's just all a cope to ignore the responsibilities we have to carry in our meaningless existence. Maybe finding a partner is a more productive use of time, but what's the realistic chance of that even happening? Nothing lasts forever, we're all gonna die at the end of the day. Sure.
Get fucked.